Soil testing is only as accurate as the sample you collect. That's why taking a proper soil sample is the foundation of any fertility program. A good soil sample is a representation of the field that needs to be tested, not just one spot, and helps you understand what's really happening below the surface. When done correctly and consistently, soil sampling leads to more precise diagnostics, leading to proper solutions and smarter fertilizer use. Whether you're farming thousands of acres or managing a small plot, the quality of your sample will determine the quality of your results. Before you start sampling, it's important to have a plan. First, choose your sampling method. For soil check, we recommend collecting multiple soil samples from areas where you're noticing poor crop performance or other problem signs. These could be spots with stunted growth, yellowing, or bare patches. Then take another set of samples from areas where the crop is growing well and appears healthy. The goal is to compare these zones to understand what's happening beneath the surface in both the good and the bad areas. Make sure each sample is taken at a consistent depth. Avoid edges of fields, old manure piles, or unusual patches unless they're part of your specific concern. By collecting a composite of 10 to 15 cores from each zone and mixing them into one sample per zone, you'll get a more reliable snapshot of soil health. This method helps you make informed decisions that can turn problem areas into productive ones over time. Soil sampling can be done in the fall after harvest or in the spring before planting. The key is to avoid extreme moisture conditions, so not when it's too wet or frozen. And remember, to monitor changes in soil health over time, try to sample the same areas and at the same time of year each time. To collect a reliable sample, make sure you have the right tools on hand. You'll need a soil probe or auger. This helps you take uniform cores at the right depth. Use a clean plastic bucket to mix your samples, not metal, as it can contaminate certain nutrients like iron, zinc, or copper. Have labeled sample bags ready and a permanent marker to identify each one. If you're doing zone or grid sampling, a GPS device or printed field map is useful for marking where samples come from. Being organized ahead of time makes the whole process quicker and more consistent. Now let's take the sample. Start by removing any surface debris like crop residue or manure. Then, using your probe, collect soil to the recommended depth, usually 8 inches depending on your crop and the type of analysis you're doing. Take 10 to 15 cores per sample area. Walk in a zigzag pattern or follow the same path you've used in past years. Avoid problem spots like wet holes or fence lines unless you're specifically testing those areas. Place all your cores into the bucket and mix them thoroughly. From that mix, take enough soil to fill your sample bag, usually about 2 cups or 500 grams. This gives the lab a consistent, representative sample to work with. Once your sample is collected, label everything clearly. Include the field name, sample ID, depth, and the date. If possible, add GPS coordinates or make a note on your field map showing where the sample came from. Also, jot down details like recent crop history, fertilizer applications, or any other notes that might affect your soil test results. Good records now will save you a lot of guesswork later, especially when it comes time to compare results or make fertility decisions. After sampling, keep your soil in good condition. If you won't be sending it to the lab immediately, let the sample air dry in a clean area out of direct sunlight. Don't freeze it or leave it sitting in a hot truck, especially during the summer. Package samples in approved bags or containers and fill out the lab's submission form completely. Include your contact information and any services you're requesting. Then, ship or deliver the sample to the lab as soon as possible, ideally within 24 to 48 hours. The fresher the sample, the more accurate your test results. Once you receive your results, it's time to put them to work. Review your report with your agronomist or crop advisor and compare it with historical tests if available. Look for patterns, identify deficiencies, and tailor your fertilizer program based on what the field actually needs. With consistent testing over time, you'll be able to monitor trends, track improvements, and make informed decisions that boost productivity and profitability. Soil sampling isn't just a box to check, it's a long-term investment in your soil's health and performance.